In the bottom right of the map, we have from Team All Inspiration, it is our purple Protoss player, Shadver.
And at the top right of the map, we have our red Protoss player. It is Mercury.
Now then, this is actually one of those situations where you kind of have to, I believe, take a little bit of a gamble with your scout at the beginning. You can either say to yourself, I'm going to go for a very aggressive play, Blink Stalkers, for example, and just try and get to his base and run him down and hope I don't get blank countered. Or you scout, you're just kind of hoping that, the fact that you don't scout gives you a little bit of an edge and get a couple more units out so you can kind of blunt the danger a little bit. Or the other approach you can take is to scout him very fast and then proxy something. Proxying something in the middle of the map, I feel, can be done, but it's pretty easy to pick up on. So you either have to roll some dice and hope you pick the correct location for your Oracle to run through real fast, or you look around a little bit more.
Proxy Stargate would be great, especially if you know where your opponent is. He doesn't know where you are. But then it comes down to how sneaky you can be. And honestly, I don't know if this map really has spots out of the way enough to hide anything like that. You pretty much catch everything on the way out of your base.
Yep. I think honestly the biggest locations are actually just along the straight line flight path between their two bases. There's actually a decent number of locations to put things, especially in this vented area in the back right hand of, I guess what this would be the fourth or something. Could be the fourth or the fifth base. But yeah, this is the way this tends to work out. Deadwing, however, is a little bit different than Nimbus in that you cannot have, I believe you cannot have horizontal spawns, which is why we're seeing a cross spawn here. Also, working out very nicely for Shadver as he picked up on his opponent right away.
Yeah, for sure. Only seeing the identical setup as what's in his base. The cybernetic score timings actually are almost spot on.
Now, even as I say that, Mercury actually did check in the corner, which, unfortunately, that might be just the side effect of him not playing the maps too much, unfortunately. If he hasn't been playing so much, he wouldn't have been as aware of it. Basically, Foxtrot Labs is cross-only, Nimbus is anywhere, and Deadwing is no horizontal. You do have vertical, obviously, but we can double-check that as we get out, in case anybody wants confirmation on it. But Stargate. Not proxied, just in base. Is a selection from Shadver.
Shadver pulling out the shank Mercury used on him last game. See if he can pull it off. But Mercury did open Phoenixes. There's a chance Shadver could still go for an Oracle. Those don't feel very good, especially in PvP. Get a decent economic lead on your opponent, set him off for the rest of the game.
This is definitely a control-based play, though, if he goes for that, in that there's already adequate defenses out for the red Protoss in order to deal with this. So this becomes the kind of thing where you kill a couple probes and try to run away and not loot, not take any hull damage, get your shields back, come back, pick off something. Basically just be annoying and keep him from going across the map, because Mercury is very... oh, he's going for an expansion play. This is actually ideal for the Oracling player, in a way, because it gives them two locations to hit. And anytime you have any kind of harassment play, doesn't matter what race you're playing, if your opponent is on more bases, it gives you more targets to hit, and it makes it more effective. If you're facing a one-basing opponent with a play like this, it gets much harder to deal with. And you'll notice it looks like Mercury is suspecting this. He's got 3 Stalkers back home. He should be able to defend this pretty well.
Yep, he's going to spot it with the Mothership Core right there. Perfect pathing.
But Shadver actually isn't counting on this doing damage just by itself. It really wants just to keep him home because he's going for an expansion as well. And he shows up in the base, gets 1 probe, and runs away immediately. And this is really what you have to do. Keeping this thing alive is the key. If that, Blink were in play, obviously it'd be dead right now, but he's not going Blink. He's going down the Robo pathway. And this is a very, very dangerous position. From this point, Shadver, like this is his Mothership Cores here, is he needs to see what Shadver is going to back this up with. blind, for example, if he doesn't catch a Void Rays coming, his army will be completely decimated. But if his opponent starts going down the Robo route as well, then he has a little bit more to work with, and he sees the expansion. He's able to harass the base a little bit. Does have to be careful about taking damage on this Mothership Core, though. These things do end up being kind of pivotal in PvP.
Stalker being a little pesky, but he's going to escape.
Second Oracle now in play. Worker loss is coming down back home for Mercury, but this time the Oracles do not die.
So they're still about even, and worker kills here. Well, I lied. Mercury's got 2, Shadver has 5.
He's able to get a couple more with the initial attack. I mean, this is the thing. This forces Mercury to build some cannons. It's forcing him to build more defenses, stay back home. He can't push out across the map. He cannot punish this expansion. And even though the advantage may be slight, having just a few more workers than your opponent in this matchup would normally be the case is not the case. Let's just say that Mercury would be even farther ahead.
One Oracle
I was kind of
down.
surprised to look at that. He's doing very good with his production. Don't lose that one. Get him out of there. Get him out of there, yeah. Okay. So he's killed 9 workers versus 2, but if you look at the actual worker counts, they're about even.
Very close, 36 to 36. Or 37, rather. Just changed. Just keeping the edge down a little bit. Making sure that he stays on even footing.
Twilight Council. This could be just for the upgrade, or he may be wanting to grab Blink for these Stalkers just to give them a little bit more usefulness as we move into the mid-game. PvP Stalkers do not have as much utility as they kind of do elsewhere. This becomes the kind of thing where you want Archons, you want Colossus, you want Void Rays, but you don't really want Stalkers. They're not as powerful as any of those units in a big PvP engagement. It looks like we're actually getting into the mid-game, though, which is like, yay, that doesn't happen very often.
Especially in PvP. Usually a very cheesy matchup. You know, 4 gates, cannon rushes, things like that. Oracles, yeah.
Yeah, no, it often tends to end just because they can do so much damage so quickly. So many things in StarCraft 2 are like that. You can just end the game very, very, very fast. Pack a flock of Mutalisks showing up in your base, you don't react a second fast enough, game's over. Same thing with an Oracle.
We do have a War Prism coming out for Mercury too, so do you think he's planning a Immortal drop?
This is possible. He may just be wanting to use this in order to put some pressure back home if Mercury tries to leave his base. Thing is, he really does need to have some forward scouting to make that work, so it might just be a warp in the main. There's actually a lot of dead space in the mains on Deadwing. So this is a very strong play. It's part of the reason why Terrans have been doing so well in WCS. In fact.
Yep. Shadver deciding wants to move out here. Took out the scout probe for Mercury, so he should know this is on its way.
With the Void Ray accompanying this as well. Oh, that is unfortunate. That is definitely not where that thing wants to be, and this is not the place to fight. He's going to lose 1 Immortal. Didn't really pick up anything with that. Void Ray tagging on in the back. It's a little unfortunate for our red Protoss player. There isn't actually much to defend here. He does have 2 photon overcharges, though. Ooh, uh-oh. Oh, that doesn't help.
Mercury's in a little bit of trouble here. That 1 extra Immortal could have changed the fight here.
He's gonna try and go for a back attack with this, but the aggression has already begun, and the thing is, will he survive long enough for this War Person to actually get any damage done? And as of right now, it's not looking like he will. The Nexus is going to fall. And there's basically nothing here. He's starting to lose workers. He's moving back up into the base. Question is, what will this do? He needs to do some insane work with this War Prism. Presuming he survives long enough to actually go back there and do anything about it.
Yep, second photon overcharge going down. And
Zealots are dead, and Shadver takes game 2.
GG.
Oops. Notes are incorrect.